Hoppe. And what I want to look at today is the new Trump tax laws and entity selection. Specifically, we're going to look at being a service business, making roughly net income of about $300,000, and picking your entity and also managing your entity appropriately. So the House GOPs in November of 2017 introduced the new tax law. It went through Senate and Trump signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act on December 22nd, 2017. With that passage of the law, we saw Trump's promise for lower corporate tax rates fulfilled. The rates went down to, for C corporations, went down to 21%. But we also saw individual tax rates, the top rates, drop from 39.6% to 37%. But along with that, there were some other changes, like itemized deductions being limited. That really hurt California taxpayers. We also saw mortgage limitations that hurt Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and Los Angeles taxpayers, where it's pretty easy to get over the $750,000 mortgage threshold for interest deduction. But probably the most exciting part of this whole thing is Section 199A deduction for flow-through businesses. And what that is it's a 20% free deduction for businesses that are set up as S-Corps, sole proprietors, LLCs, partnerships. And the main reason why that came about was to balance out the big reduction in corporate tax rates. So what we are going to do is look at three different structures, same example, same person, same facts, but see how it impacts them if they're an S-Corp, a single member LLC, or a C-Corp. So in this case, we are going to have Joey. He's a software engineer. He's married, he's 51, and he's a California resident. He makes $375,000. He has expenses of $75,000. So that means he has net income of $300,000. Since he's married, he's under the threshold for the 20% deduction, and that threshold's $315,000. So he gets the new Section 199A deduction, that 20% deduction. He gets a free 20% write-off. But what we'll see here is, as an S-Corp, he gets the most benefit. As a C-Corp, he actually gets hurt the most. So when we think about entity selection, that's thinking about when do we move from a sole proprietor to an S-Corp. Entity management is looking at how do we make sure we're taking the deductions the best way possible. As an S-Corp, that means how do we get our payroll, our owner salary payments to be the right amount. Low enough so it's reasonable compensation, or high enough so it's reasonable compensation, but low enough that we're not overpaying in taxes. And we'll see how that can play out here. So Joey, our married individual from California, he as a single member LLC, he makes a gross income of $375. He has expenses of $75. He has net income of $300. He's underneath that $315,000 threshold for the 20% deduction. He would have total taxes of $90,000, and that's about $36,000 to the IRS, about $33,000 of payroll taxes, $19,000 to California, and $1,700 in LLC fees. But we move over as an S-Corp, where now he makes $300,000, but he takes that $300,000 out of the business, half as payroll and half as a distribution. His total taxes dropped to $82,000. So he's now paying $8,000 less in his taxes, when you think about $8,000 a year over 5 years, that's $40,000. That more than pays for my fees each and every year, just by making a simple entity switch, picking the selection, and managing your payroll, or doing your entity management. So payroll's an appropriate amount. In this case, we're using a round number, 150. But in reality, I would do a 3-prong test to get to that figure, and substantiate it, because it's likely a little bit lower, resulting in even bigger savings. But you may be asking, hey Scott, we just said the corporate rates dropped to 21%. Why not be a corporation and then pass things over? Well, let's look at the same exact facts as this S-Corp, except we're going to be a C-Corp. You can see right there at the bottom, 121,000 of tax, 40%, the most punitive spot. That's because you're now taxed individually by the IRS, individually to California. You have some payroll taxes. Your C-Corp's also taxed to the IRS and to California. So when you bundle all that up, you have the most overall tax. And that really comes down to double taxation. So $150,000 paid out as a dividend, that's both taxed at the corporate level and at the individual level, resulting in a pretty high overall 40% tax rate versus that S-Corp where we only had 27%. So what you really want to know around this is, if I'm a service business and I'm making around $315,000 net income, or if I'm over it, am I managing my income so I'm not losing out on that 20% benefit? And then we want to think about, are we the best entity we should be? Should I be an S-Corp, a C-Corp? As you saw in this example, C-Corp is pretty punitive. You want to be an S-Corp. And really what you want to do then is think about, if I'm over that $315,000 limit, if I'm making $700,000, what can I do? What's in my power as a business owner to control my income so I'm not losing on that 20% deduction? There's some plans that I have out there using a combination of defined benefit plans, defined contribution plans like your 401ks, hiring kids, and there's a number of other plays that we can make to really maximize your tax situation. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer them. Good luck on picking the right entity for you.